Have you ever noticed that, over time, many women start to lose interest in their husbands? What was once deep affection turns into indifference. What was once admiration turns into annoyance. And what was once love turns into obligation. But why? Is it because women are simply fickle? Is it because they grow tired of routine? Or is there a deeper, more practical reason? One rooted in human psychology and the fundamental laws of attraction. In this video, we will break down the practical, psychological, and even stoic reasons why women often start to dislike their husbands as they age. And more importantly, what you, as a man, can do to prevent it. First, let's get something straight. Love and attraction are not the same thing. In the beginning, attraction is effortless. The mystery, the excitement, the anticipation, it all fuels a woman's emotions. But as time passes, routine settles in. A man who was once confident, driven, and full of purpose often becomes complacent. He stops pursuing personal growth. He stops being the man she once admired. He becomes predictable. And predictability kills desire. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." But what happens when a man stops thinking about his own growth? When he stops leading, stops improving, stops being the challenge she once admired, the woman's mind naturally begins to shift. She starts noticing the little things: his lack of ambition, his growing emotional neediness, his failure to maintain his masculine presence. And once that perception changes, respect fades. And when respect fades, love follows. So what's the solution? According to Stoicism, attraction and love are not about external validation. A man should never seek happiness from his partner. He should find it within himself. Here's what high-value men do differently. They never stop improving. They maintain their purpose, even in relationships. They are emotionally self-sufficient. They lead with action, not just words. Remember this: a woman doesn't just fall out of love randomly. It happens when the man she once admired stops being the man she was drawn to. It's a scenario many men never see coming. Everything seems perfect. The love, the passion, the closeness, it's all there. But as the years go by, something shifts. The woman who once admired and respected her husband now seems cold, irritated, disinterested. And it's not just an isolated case. It happens everywhere. But why? Did love simply run its course? Did she find someone else? Or is the answer something far more practical, something rooted in human nature, psychology, and the fundamental laws of attraction? Today, we're breaking it all down. And more importantly, we'll uncover what men can do to stop this from happening. This is where Stoicism becomes your greatest tool. Most men assume that if they marry the right woman, love will last forever. They believe that their history together is enough to keep her by their side. But love and attraction are not the same thing. And if you misunderstand the difference, you're bound to experience the coldest rejection of all, not from a stranger, but from the woman who once loved you. But over time, something dangerous happens. Many men, after years of being in a relationship, become comfortable. They stop pursuing their own personal growth. They stop taking care of their bodies. They stop leading the relationship. And slowly, without realizing it, they kill the very attraction that brought her to them in the first place. They become predictable. They start seeking validation from their wife instead of focusing on their mission. They lose their masculine presence. And when a man becomes too familiar, too predictable, and too emotionally dependent, his wife may still love him, but she no longer desires him. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man should not allow his happiness to depend on the opinion of others, not even his wife's." When a man loses his sense of self, the polarity that once fueled attraction dies. Women are naturally drawn to masculine energy. A man who is self-sufficient, emotionally strong, and driven by purpose. But when he loses his edge, she starts to feel something she never thought she would feel toward him: resentment. Here's what happens next. She starts testing him more. She criticizes him more. She loses respect for him. And here's the hard truth. When a woman loses respect for a man, she loses attraction. And when she loses attraction, love eventually follows. Many men panic at this stage. They try to fix things by chasing, pleading, or over-explaining themselves. But all this does is push her further away. So, what's the solution? What does a high-value man do differently? According to Stoicism, attraction is not about seeking external validation. A man should never rely on his partner for happiness. Instead, he must stay committed to his personal growth, maintain his purpose, even in relationships, remain emotionally self-sufficient, lead with action, not just words. A high-value man doesn't fear losing his wife's admiration, because his admiration for himself comes first. And ironically, that's what keeps her attracted to him. A woman wants to admire the man she's with. She doesn't want to feel like she's mothering him. She doesn't want to feel like she's the leader of the relationship. She doesn't want to feel like she's the only one growing while he remains stagnant. If she feels that way, the relationship is already dying. The fix. A man must always stay in control of his own path. He should never stop growing, learning, or evolving. Because at the end of the day, a woman doesn't just fall out of love. She stops feeling attracted to the man her husband has become. The next time you feel your relationship shifting, don't ask, why is she acting differently? Let's start with a simple fact. Women do not fall out of love overnight. This isn't about one big mistake. It's about small, unnoticed changes that accumulate over time. And the most dangerous shift happens when a man stops being the person she admired. Think back to the beginning of the relationship. What was different? You had ambition. You took care of yourself. You made her feel safe, yet excited. You had a life outside of her. But over time, many men get comfortable. They stop challenging themselves. They become too predictable. They lose their masculine presence. And slowly, without even realizing it, they lose the very qualities that made her fall for them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Because the moment a man stops leading his own life, he stops being attractive to the woman he's with. Attraction is not just about love. It's about respect. A woman can still love a man, yet feel no desire for him. If she stops respecting you, she stops feeling drawn to you. And when that happens, you'll start to notice the signs. She tests you more often. She criticizes you frequently. She gets irritated by small things. And worst of all, she stops looking at you with admiration. This is where most men fail. They notice these changes, but instead of correcting their behavior, they become more emotionally dependent on her. They start seeking her validation, trying too hard to please her, becoming more reactive and insecure. And the more a man does this, the more unattractive he becomes. Here's what most men fail to understand about women. A woman doesn't want to lead the relationship. She wants to feel like she's with a strong man who knows his direction in life. She doesn't want a man who's emotionally dependent on her. She wants a man who is emotionally self-sufficient. She doesn't want a man who has lost his ambition. She wants a man who never stops growing. And when a man stops embodying these traits, her natural reaction is to pull away. That's why it's crucial to never lose your masculine frame. As Epictetus said, you become what you give your attention to. If you do not choose what thoughts and images you expose yourself to, someone else will. So what's the solution? How do you stop this downward spiral before it's too late? Here's what high-value men do differently. They prioritize their mission, not their relationship. A man should have goals, ambitions, and a purpose beyond his woman. They keep their masculine energy strong. Masculinity is not about dominance. It's about being grounded, unshaken, and confident. They never stop improving themselves. Physically, mentally, financially, growth is a lifelong process. They set boundaries and enforce them. A high-value man is not afraid to walk away if his respect is being tested. Because here's the harsh truth. A woman will never stay attracted to a man she doesn't respect. Many men realize too late that their wife has checked out emotionally. At this point, it's almost impossible to repair the damage. That's why it's crucial to act before it gets to that stage. Never let your self-worth depend on her validation. Never stop being the man she admired in the beginning. Never let comfort kill your drive. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most men fear losing their wife's admiration, but what they should really fear is losing their own sense of self. The next time you feel like your wife is pulling away, don't chase her. Instead, ask yourself, am I still the man she once respected? Because if you're not, the answer isn't to win her back. It's to become the best version of yourself again. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and never stop growing.